Hello and welcome to day 3. Sorry, I've been working on day 3 of the Simplify to Thrive 4-day challenge. I'm Heather Cameron. I am a coach and a client attraction strategist, and I want to talk about our challenge. I hope that you've been enjoying it. For those who have been coming live, thank you. For those who are watching the replay, thank you for watching the replay. I'm hoping this is working. I'm checking. I'm live, so I am working. Hopefully, we had glitches on day 1 where I went live and it didn't show up on YouTube. So, welcome to day 3. Today, we are going to be talking about shifts to step up. And first of all, I want to say you guys are awesome. And I want to encourage you to commit to doing all 4 days of this challenge because it's really can be, any little shift that we make can really change the outcome that we have. So I want you to really commit to going through all 4 days and joining me for the masterclass that we'll be doing on Monday. More information will be coming out about that tomorrow. It's really a workshop and a Q&A session for you to come in and ask questions. So without further ado, what we've been doing for the 4 days. So day 1 was your bold vision. It was declaring it and the business model that supports it. Day 2 was knowing your offers. So pinpointing exactly what you're selling and when. And then day 3 today is shifts to step up. It's breaking through what's holding you back and really kind of focusing a little bit on the mindsets. And then day 4 is kind of putting it all together and creating your traction plan because, getting into action creates traction and traction creates results. And so that's what we're covering during this challenge. And I want to focus again, and I want to say this, I've said this in all of them, I will continue to say it, is everyone's different. Where you are in your business, what you're looking for, what you're doing, where you want to go is different because we're all in different places. And I don't want you to feel the pressure of achieving what I'm achieving or achieving what someone else is or following somebody online. I don't want you to feel the pressure of that. And I try to give examples across different disciplines about different price points because we all have a difference. And then what I want to do and what my passion is to strive is to help you create the business that's uniquely you, because that's when you shine and that's what you do. So really remembering that whatever I say in this challenge or whatever anybody says in a challenge or masterclass, you've got to do it your way and not compare with where other people are. So you won't hear me saying, make 10K months because maybe you don't need to. And maybe your goal is 50K months. They're all valid. And I really want to focus on giving you that opportunity. On day 1, we talked about what type of business you are. So just a really quick, summary of that is that once we define our business model, and I use restaurants as an analogy because we all understand them and we can start to, kind of play into how we would position ourselves in our own industry. But, there's the fast food, the quick, the low price things. There's the diner, there's the bistro, which is more customized. And then there's the 5-star restaurant, which is that really high-end experience. And there's a couple others in between, and they're all valid. And I really want to encourage you to kind of think about yourself in your industry. Where do you want to fit? And use that as a lens so that when you're listening to what people are saying, when you're, something comes through your email and they're inviting you to a masterclass or something comes along or there's a new technology, does it fit into your lens, right? It doesn't need to. And so if it doesn't fit in, then the answer is no, I don't want to do it. And if it does fit in, then it's an opportunity to say, well, do I want to embrace this now, or is it going to be something I do later? So that lens can really help you simplify things and focus your business. You also talked about your top 3 success strategies with a financial goal in it and declared what you wanted to make by the end of 2025. And we're going to use that tomorrow. Then we talked about putting it all together. So we often hear people say making offers, and I meet a lot of women entrepreneurs who I've talked to and who I've worked with who come in and they say, well, I've got a product and service. I know the price is always available. My message is good, but I'm not promoting it, right? And they're not selling and they're not getting the results they want. And typically when I hear that, they don't have a promotion strategy and they haven't built in incentives, right? So making an offer isn't just your product and service. It's how you're pricing it. It's how you're packaging it. It's your market, your messaging, and your positioning. It's also how you promote it and how you create incentives for people to buy. And we will, that's key to the success of selling and having money-making offers. We talked about the sweet spot, which is that we all have to recognize that our ideal clients are out there, but they have to be ready to act. They have to know, like, and trust you, and your offer has to be in front of them. If they know, like, and trust you and they're ready to act and your offer's not in front of them, they're going to buy from someone else. And if they're ready to act, your offer's in front of them, but they don't know, like, or trust you, they're likely going to buy from someone else. If your offer's in front of them, they know, like, and trust you, and they're not sure they're ready to act, that's when you can nudge them. But if they're not ready to act, they're not going to buy, right? And if they do buy, they're going to be very unsatisfied because it wasn't something they were ready to do. And so the sweet spot is making sure that we're focused on that in everything that we do. And sorry, I had an extra thing in there. Yesterday we declared I'm going to sell X of Y by the end of 2025. And I'm going to sell X of Y by the end of 2025. So it's the kind of concept of having two things. Some of you may be selling three things. If I look and I use our Scrapbooking Fun Circle, which is my other business partnership, we will probably sell 2 to 3 things. We will sell 2 for sure. And we might sell one of them twice. But it's whether we decide to do something for Black Friday. Likely we will, because we have done it before. So then we were selling our summit, we were selling our circle, and then we're selling something for Black Friday. That's it. Right? And that's very profitable for us. So knowing what those things are doesn't need to be complicated. And that's the whole thing about simplifying. If you only have one thing, let's say you have a membership. So I have several clients who run memberships. They will be selling the membership, but how often will they be selling it, right? And how many of them do they want to sell, right? And that's why putting numbers are important. So they could be, I'm going to sell, I have someone who's a very low membership, so I'm going to sell 100 of my memberships by the end of 2025, right? That's going to be that first thing. They know what they're going after. It's one thing. And so it doesn't need to be 20 things. In fact, it's harder to sell 20 things than it is to sell one thing. So really writing it down and declaring it. Sorry, I'm looking at my phone over there to make sure things are working. So let's get going on day 3. Day 3, shifts to step up, breaking through what's holding you back. This is an important conversation. What's holding us back? What are we not doing? What are we doing? What stories do we tell ourselves? And we're going to go through that. I kind of think I put a lot in here, but they're all exercises that you can do and break them up. So the first thing I want to talk about is the elements to getting results are twofold. There's one, it's about mindset. It's about, knowing and thinking about what it is that we want to have the right mindset. You have to believe that you can be successful. You have to believe that there are people out there. You have to believe a lot of things. So mindset is part of it. And we all do a lot of mindset work. Plus action. And this is the part that I love to focus on, because when you're in action, all the mindset comes up and you can start working on the mindset work. That's what's going to give you results that you're looking for. So you've set these goals, you know what you're going to sell. Now we need to think about what's the mindset we need to be in and what are the actions we need to do. I'm going to focus on actions tomorrow. So today we're focusing on the mindset side of it. And I love this quote from Wayne Gretzky. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And it so often happens where people are like, well, I'm not getting anybody on my list. Well, are you doing anything to put anybody on your list? So, I had a client who jumped in. She decided to create a giveaway event. She had never done one before. She had nobody on her list. She had a small list. Sorry, she had a small list. She'd never done one before. She put I think it was over 1,500 people on her list because she had it so targeted. And she did it in a matter of 2 months, right? Because she started to take action. Had she not done it, she wouldn't have gotten those people on their list. And they were very targeted people. So we miss 100% of the shots that we don't take. And that's a mindset of, I should be doing this. I should be doing that. I'm not doing this. We miss what we're not taking. So who do you need to be? This is a great question to ask yourself. It's actually a question that I recommend you ask yourself. It's one of the ones I do. So I do a CEO ritual, and we'll talk about that either tomorrow or in the masterclass. But I do a CEO ritual once a week, where I sit down and I look at what I need to get done that week to meet my goals. And part of it is, who do I need to be? Who do I need to be this week to get them? And I want you to think a little bit about that. I'm going to give you some structure on this. So what is your identity? How do you identify yourself? And what I mean by that is, do you think, well, I'm new at this. I'm new at this, so therefore I can't do X, Y, and Z. Or I'm new at this and I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, right? I'm one of many. So I hear this one a lot. Well, why would anybody buy from me? There's tons of coaches out there. And frankly, I've had that thought too, right? There's tons of coaches out there. So why are people going to buy from me? I'm an imposter. For those of you who have imposter syndrome and you're like, oh, why am I, I think I can do this, but really, can I? And that happens to a lot of women. Or you can identify, I'm a specialist. I'm so good at this, at doing email marketing, that I'm going to be amazing. I'm lacking something. I'm intelligent. I look silly. I have too many this, too many that, too many this. So what I want to say with this slide is that I'm a badass, right? So you can identify yourself in the negative, or you can identify yourself in the positive. And I want to really help you think about, what are those positive identifications that you have? I'm a powerhouse. I'm really good at speaking in live. I can create amazing transformations. I'm kind of quirky, right? Whatever comes to mind, get into the positive and capture yourself when you're saying those negative things, because it can go either way. And what stories do you tell yourself? Because these are the things that get in the way. So we have this identity, and when our identity is not matching our goals, that can be a problem, and we want to work on that. And then what stories do you tell yourself? So when I hear people say, well, I'm missing something, I can't do this because I don't have the things that I need to do it. I don't know how to do this. I'm not deserving. That can happen for a lot of women. That imposter syndrome, I'm an outsider. Like, who gives me, actually I have a client right now who's going through a little bit of this. It's like, they are so suited to go into the market they're going into, but they've never been there, and they've had successful businesses in other markets. So they feel like an outsider, even though they are exactly suited to go into that. So sometimes we can feel like an outsider, unable to do something because I need something. So I'm unable to do this because I don't have the thing that I need. I'm scared. I'm distracted. I'm not good enough. Why me? Why would anybody buy from me? We have all these stories going around in our head, and we really need to hear them. Like, I don't think we need to dismiss them. We need to hear them, and then we need to address them versus dismiss them and not listen to them. So what are the stories that you're telling yourself? What are they, and how do they work for you? And what stories do you tell yourself? We're still going that. If only I hear this one. If only I had the perfect thing. I'm unable to do this because people won't. My ideas aren't good enough. Why would anyone listen to me? I've done it before and it hasn't worked. I hear that one a lot, right? I've done a launch before, and I've been there. I've done a launch before. It didn't work. And I have an accountability partner I work with, and we talk about this a lot, because one I've done isn't a measure for success, right? And it's easy to throw that away because you tried something and it didn't work, versus asking yourself, what do I need to tweak to make it work? And so thinking about those stories, and I want you to really think about, if you have an if only thinking, if only I had this, then I do that, so then I can be that. If only I had the coach who could help me launch my membership, then I would launch my membership so that I could have the success, right? So we kind of get into this if only thinking. If it's one of the things that you have, I really want you to encourage you to think about reframing it. So for example, if only I could take the perfect course, then I could create the perfect offer, and then I could make 10K every month, right? And marketers really jump on this, right? You hear so many marketing to that, making 10K, because they're feeding into this, if only I had the perfect solution. But I'm going to tell you, the perfect solution is inside you. You just need someone to support you to get the perfect solution to the goal that you want. And really thinking it out. Excuse me. I just lost my voice. There's also the, if only I had the perfect fitness trainer, right? If I only had the perfect person, I could work out every day, then I'd be in perfect health. If only I had the perfect, there's taking it out of the online world. If only I had the perfect website, then I could start to sell my program, then I'd be successful, right? And that feeds into this shiny object syndrome. So having the perfect website, then I can start to sell my program, and then I could be successful, right? So it's that, if only I have this, then I can do this, and then I will be that. And that's that if only. If we flip this, what will come out of it? If we start to be the healthy person, what would be differently? Would we wait to hire a trainer, or we just start walking, right? We just start working. We just start working out. If I didn't have the perfect website, but I wanted to sell, what would I start doing? I would start selling in a different way. I would start moving towards that. And so the if only, have, do, be model can really pull us down because we're waiting for something versus starting with where we want to be. And I want you to think a little bit about that. So when we start with being, we've already won. And going back to that fitness, when we start being a healthy person, we are going to start doing the things that'll make us healthy. And then we are going to start to be what we want to be. Start to have what we want to have. So think about reversing this, right? What behaviors do you need to be so that you can start doing the things so you can start having the thing that you want? And flipping this is extremely powerful in our beliefs and how we do it. So who do we need to be so that we are doing the things we want that are going to get us the things that we do? So you are a business owner, if you're listening to me, likely a woman business owner. So who do you have to be? And what do you want to start doing so that you're going to have the success you want? So flipping the have, do, be to the be, do, have model is extremely powerful. It's not easy, but it's powerful. And once we have it in our brain, we can start capturing it and thinking, am I being that? Am I actually being a successful entrepreneur? Or am I waiting for something to come around that's going to start me doing the things that's going to get me there? So for example, if you want to hit your year-end target, what behaviors, what capacities or skills, and I'll break each one of these down, what beliefs, what stories, and what identity do you need to have so that you can get to your year-end target? So behaviors could be prioritizing dollar-generating activities, and we're going to talk about that tomorrow. Another behavior could be sticking to my daily plan until it's done. Like I try to have 3 goals for the day. And if I'm working on those 3 goals, then check, I've done. That's a behavior, setting the goals and actually working on them. I'm decisive and take action. So instead of waffling, and I can waffle, by the way, instead of waffling, I'm going to take action and I'm going to move forward. I make calls and follow up, right? So I have this lead, have you followed? I had someone on a call in August and I asked her, have you followed up with your leads? And she's like, no, I haven't. I'm like, well, start following up with your leads, right? I keep at it until I hit my goal. And that's that. Don't give up the first time you do something. Keep figuring how to refine it. I take calculated risks. I have 3 daily sales conversations a day. I'm throwing a bunch of ideas out there just to get you thinking on what would make sense for you. I see things through to the end. That one's a big one, running through the finish line. Something that I honestly have to always work on because I love the creative process. I love to get going. And if I don't hit the right momentum, I will go, instead of going up in energy when I need it, I can go down in energy when I need it. So I have to work on this one, but I see things through to the end. That's a capacity I want to build. I execute on a plan. I structure my time and work on high value tasks first. It's so easy to get dragged into busy work, especially in this current world. It's so easy to get pulled away. So how do you structure your time so you're working on those high value items first? I'm create and pivot quickly. I know how to deliver transformation. I sell. Right? That's one of the things we all need to do. We're in business to make money. We have to sell. What are the beliefs that come along with that? So I am more than enough. I am damn good at what I do. There are people who need my services now. I deserve my success. I love to sell, right? I hear so many women saying, I don't like to sell. Well, that story is going to pull you down. On the other hand, I like to sell. This is what's going to get me success. This is how people are going to transform by buying the service or product I have to offer that's going to get them the results they're looking for, right? And so how do you reframe it? Stories. I will make my goal. I'm worth dollars and more, right? I make a difference for my clients. I have everything I need or I'll figure it out. I belong in this business. These are the stories. I'm going to do it my way. Right? These are the stories that we need to be telling ourselves and not the ones that bring us down. Identity. I'm kick-ass, right? I'm committed. I'm disciplined. I'm courageous. I'm devoted. I'm responsible. I'm creative. I'm confident. What are those positive things that you can put out that will move you into the be, do, have? When your behaviors and your identities match who you're going to be, you start to do the things you need to do and you start to have the things that you want. And so it's important to kind of think about that and think about where you are now and where you want to go. And what's holding you back? What are those kind of limitations that are holding you back from what you actually want to achieve? What's holding you back? What are those stories we tell ourselves? Because trust me, we all tell ourselves stories. What are the voices in our head that are going on that are stopping us from leaning into that be, do, have model and be the success that we want to have? Right? So what's holding you back? I love this. To create your life, you have to change yourself. To change yourself, you have to change your mindset. And so I call them your got you mindsets. What mindsets are holding you back? I don't want to intrude. That's one of mine. That's not one of mine. That's a big one that I hear. It is one of mine on certain levels, but it's a big one I hear about mailing your email list. Like mailing, we all know the stats are there, the information is there, that mailing your email list frequently is how you are going to be successful, create transformations for them, but people don't want to do it. And I find it's a really interesting one because it's how things are going to happen. It's how you are going to make the sales and do that. But we all have this, I don't want to intrude. I have to do the right thing and stop creativity. I have this one. It has to be right. I don't even know what right is, but I get stuck on a title or I get stuck on a topic. And I can get stuck for a long time on this right. And I don't even know what right is. It's one of my got you mindsets. Another one is fear of being judged. I don't want to be on YouTube, so people are going to be judging me. And these things can be manifested very physically, right? They hold us back. They create anxiety. They create, tension. They create fear, right? So they hold us back, but they're often not true. And what I want to do is really think about how can we shift them? So what mindsets are holding you back? What are your top 3? And which one is most important for you to change? And I want you to write them down. So what are top 3? What are the most important for you to change? And I want you to write them down on a piece of paper and get them out of your head. Articulate them can really help, and write them on individual pieces of paper or Post-its. And I want you to destroy them. I want you to rip them up, burn them. I actually had a client who flushed them down the toilet. Get rid of them. I know it sounds very symbolic, but it's just like, get rid of them, rip them up, get them out of your system. Take a picture, feel the energy of just saying, enough is enough. These mindsets, they're going to be there, but when can we start saying enough is enough? Thank you for showing up, but I don't need you anymore, right? And destroy them and get them out of the way. And then imagine it in a positive way, because imagination and fear create this negative inner voice, but imagination and possibilities create the positive. Right. And so when you have a story you're telling yourself, it's typically imagination and fear making it seem worse than it is. But when we can attach imagination to what's possible, that's when we start to see the things shifting and we start to see what happens. And, kids had it all the time. We did this in childhood. We didn't put the pressures we put on ourselves that we do as adults, as kids. So we want to kind of lean into that and just play with what's possible, because what we think is more important. That imagination is more important than the knowledge of how to do it, because we'll figure it out. So we want to think about, what is the right way to do this? How can we do this? And it's time to change the narrative. So I want you to take those 3-4 things that you burnt, and I want you to change the narrative. So for example, I don't know how to add more sales this month, so I can't blank. And the way that you can change is I don't know how to make more sales this month, but I know I'm going to figure out, and it's time to start now. Right? It's about flipping it and changing it into a different positive way of putting it. Or I can't ask for what I'm worth because, I hear this one a lot, I do amazing work, right? Because whatever the reason is, but it can be flipped to, I do amazing work and I over deliver. When my clients commit to my programs, they see great transformations. It's worth my price and more, right? I can't ask for for my product because nobody's going to pay that much, because I don't have experience. I haven't done it. I haven't sold that many. I don't have anybody in my membership. I hear this conversation all the time. But I do amazing work. I over deliver. When my clients commit to my programs, they see great transformation. It's worth my price or more. So changing that narrative. Another example is, I feel like I'm an imposter. I have experience and knowledge. I'm 100% there for my clients. I'm not like anyone else. And that's my secret sauce, right? It's about changing that story. And I want you to think about it and choose a couple of stories that you can change, that you can write down, be in front of you, and empower you as you go through this. And really think about it. And that's your assignment for day 3 is, who are you being? So list at least 3 behaviors, capacity stories, and 3 words. Just like map out who you want to be to have the success that you want to have in the rest of 2025. Map that out for yourself. It's a powerful exercise. Just sit down, brainstorm with a piece of paper, and map it out. And then think about the things that are holding you back, those got you mindsets that we have. Write them down on an individual piece of paper, destroy them, tear them up, burn them, flush them down the toilet, and get rid of that anxiety that comes with it. And just say, no, enough is enough, brain, you're not helping me. And remember, that is fear and imagination as opposed to imagination and possibilities, right? When we put it to fear, it's when we end up making all of these things difficult for ourselves. And then change the narrative for them, for the got you mindsets, and really share them. Share them with me, share them with yourself, put them on a piece of paper, send me an email, and share what those new narratives are that are going to empower you. Because if we don't shift our mindset, if we don't identify those things that might be holding us back, and maybe there's, I wouldn't say maybe there's none, because we all have them. Identify them and really kind of recognize them. And as I shared, 2 of my big ones are getting it right. And I have dealt with, I don't suffer this one as much, but I can, which is that I don't want to intrude. And I know, and there's actually ways that we can help ourselves. So the email one, that sense of I don't want to send that many emails, schedule them out. Once they're scheduled, they become easy because they're just going out. So plan it and then schedule it. And you don't have to go through the angst because they're planned out, right? But it's a great example of if you want to be successful, particularly in the online world, build the email list, send emails to them. That's how you're going to be successful. And we're going to talk a little bit about that tomorrow and as well in other places. But when it comes to mindset, one thing I want to say as a parting thing is that we can work on mindset while we're going through our plans. We can say, okay, I've got this mindset trick here. And I find often that's where the most transformations come, is when people are working on what they want to work. And I can call out, or someone can call out, well, here's something, or they themselves can say, I'm feeling this today, and have that conversation and shift that mindset as they go along. So really think about that. And lastly, I do want to invite you to book your complimentary call. This is an opportunity to kind of delve down on any of the topics that we're talking about here, about how you can create that success, how you can simplify to thrive in the end of this year and on to the next year as well. So if you want to book your complimentary call, you can use the link there. It's in your emails. And I really look forward to talking to you. I love having these conversations with people and just really getting that aha moment for them. And so that's it for today. This is day 3. Tomorrow, day 4, we're going to be talking about your traction plan. So we've set out your vision, your goals, what type of business you want to be. We've talked about what your offers are. We've kind of gone on a little bit of that mindset work that we need to all do. And how do we put it all together so that you have a plan and know what you're going to be doing to have the success that you want in the remainder part, the last 3 months of 2025. So thank you. Have a great day. If you have any questions or comments, reply to one of the emails. You can comment you can comment below in the video, and I look forward to talking to you tomorrow. Thanks. Bye.